Hey guys, how are you? Welcome into a Sunday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault at Sports Talk Matt is my Twitter handle. BetMGM, the title sponsor of this podcast by now. 2 years in, you might know that, well, $10 bet to win $150 new account. You sign up with that promo code JUICE150 and you are given $150 in your account, win or lose, for new accounts where BetMGM is legal, not valid in Nevada. All right, so a 2-2 day, pretty much just a flat day. We get Tampa in regulation at -110, correct. We get Valentina by decision at -115. Get that correct. I mean, that was a gift. I saw 3-2 either way. If you had Santos, I feel bad for you because that probably should have cashed for you. It's one of those rare times where the judging actually goes in our favor, and we get that with Bullet keeping her belt. But man, that was an amazing title fight. Really fun. We do not get the win with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who gets knocked out clean. Some people are trying to say that's a dive. I don't know, man. Zhang Wei Li is just a different animal. I mean, she's just a unbelievably strong young woman, and I don't know. I thought that was a clean punch and a clean knockout. I didn't buy the idea that Joanna took a dive, but gambling Twitter's been all over that, saying that was a fixed fight. I don't really agree with that, but you know, I lose it. Wei Li wins, and then we get Yuri by submission with 10 seconds to go in the fifth round. What an amazing fight. They should run that back for sure. Run back, really, both title fights should get run back, to be quite honest. But Glover Teixeira got tapped out in the final minute of the fifth round. Whew, if you had that bet, plus 2,000, 20-1 odds on that pre-flop on that. So we had it by knockout. And if you bet him -210, 200, I don't know if that went to the cards. I really don't know who would have won that fight. I had no clue who was winning that fight. That was an amazing, amazing title fight. So really fun night for UFC 275. Pretty much no blood, no foul. So let's start a new week here on a Sunday. Did a pretty good job. I'll do some accounting on tomorrow's podcast. I'll tell you kind of where we've been over the last 10 days or so. It's been a decent run. The plus 600 is unofficial on the Don't Bet a Parlay, but that hit last night. So as I always say, look, if you bet the parlay and it cashes at plus 600, that 6-1 really does skew a lot of things depending if you put a half unit down on it or a full unit down on it. It does. We don't keep track of that officially, but if you bet it, you did pretty well this week. So always fun to nail that parlay. All right, I got 3 baseball bets today going. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm in love with betting just baseball. I'm going to go chalky, and I'm going to go a half a unit on either one of these plays. And it's coming. These are the days where there's just going to be baseball. I thought about betting NASCAR, but I got to watch NASCAR a bit more before I bet on it. I don't want to put money behind it just because. I think it's a dumb idea. I bet the Daytona 500. I haven't bet anything since, so I don't want to just tell you guys to bet something when I don't, and I haven't done the work or the homework. So let's bet 3 baseball games coming up here for today. All right, let's start with the Giants and the Dodgers. So the Dodgers are -135 favorites going up here today, and look, I think when you look at the fact that the Giants have won the first 2 games, it's Rondon against Urias. I don't know how you don't bet the Dodgers to win this game here today. It's a day game out west. Dodgers have lost the first 2 games of this series. I think the Dodgers win this game. I think the Dodgers are going to be angry about what's going on here. And I like the Giants a lot. I'm a big fan of the Giants, and now they're cutting into this lead, and I love it. But I don't think I want to go as far as to say, this is going to be a 3-game sweep for the Giants, given, these teams don't like each other. These teams are really tight, and they play each other. So 7-2, 3-2. I'm going to give the Dodgers a chance to win this game and not get swept. -135, Dodgers on the money line to avoid getting swept coming up here for today. Similar play for the second bet. And, well, the Mets taking on the Angels. The Mets won the first game 7-3, lost yesterday 11-6. They come back here today as -110 favorites. And look, I think this is going to be interesting because you have Sunday Night Baseball, Walker against Sandoval. Patrick Sandoval's been pretty good. 3-1 with a 2.81 ERA, pretty good at home too. Walker has a 3-2 with a 3.28 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, but 7-3 Mets, 11-6 Angels. I'm going to take the Mets to win this series. I'm not backing this team in Anaheim. They're 17-17 at home. The Mets have been good, and we don't have to bet heavy juice on the better baseball team, on the Mets, which I like. Prime time, which I like. Mets money line, -110 here to beat the Angels. And finally, we're going to go to the Rays and the Twins. These teams have played 2 games so far. 13 runs and 11 runs have been scored. BetMGM has this at 8.5 tonight at -120, or last night at -120. I think this is a good bet. Springs against Sands. Springs has been good. 1.62 ERA for the Rays, 2-2. Cole Sands has not been good for the Twins. 0-2, 8.49 ERA. His whip is 2. This guy's given up 4 home runs in 11 2/3 innings. So, I mean, both these guys probably aren't going to be long for their starts. You look at, basically, Sands is essentially an opener. He's gone 3 2/3, 4, 2, and 2. So he's an opener, but the bats have been hot for the Rays, and the Rays are starting Jeffrey Springs. And well, we know what they do. That they start. I mean, this guy's gone 6-5, 6-5 2/3, and 4 2/3. So maybe he'll be in for a little bit. But I mean, just given the way these bullpens have performed, where the bats have been hot in Minnesota for this past weekend for the series, 9-4, 6-5. We're gonna go over 8.5 runs for the Rays and the Twins at -120. All right, so 3 bets for us here on a Sunday, all in baseball. Mets money line -110, Dodgers money line -135, Rays and the Twins over 8.5 at -120. All 3 bets for a half a unit here today on a Sunday. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.